Hello everyone, I'm meteorologist Charlie Ironmonger. Thank you so much for joining me today for your 11 a.m. news and weather update from the First Alert Desk. Now we've got news out of Greenville where a man who pled guilty to a murder back in 2023, murder was in 2022, has now been sentenced. A Pitt County judge sentenced Dennis Marshall to 35 to 43 years in state prison last Wednesday. That's according to court documents. Now, Marshall pled guilty last December to second-degree murder in December of 2022 for the stabbing death of Barbara Fenner. 80-year-old Fenner was found on December 29, 2022 in her Contentnia Street home after relatives said they had not heard from her since that Christmas Eve. An autopsy revealed Fenner was stabbed at least 35 times. Marshall was arrested in a Hosky in January of 2023 for the murder. Court documents also show that during resentencing, Judge Jeffrey Foster recommended that Marshall get a mental health evaluation and receive psychiatric or psychological counseling. And now we want to turn to your weather forecast. But before we get to our forecast here in eastern North Carolina, I want to turn our attention to some of the severe storms that have been plaguing the Midwest over the past week. This is a video of a tornado that tore through Oklahoma last week. The storm chasers captured the twister as it moved across the ground, throwing debris into the air. Again, you can see that debris piling up and shooting out into the atmosphere. This was just one of several tornadoes that were reported across the state this past weekend. Now, at least 27 people have been killed from the Midwest to the Deep South by a string of violent storms that has spawned numerous destructive tornadoes. And unfortunately, again, that tornado threat also going to be high today for areas off to our west, specifically areas really from Kentucky down to the northern portion, at least the northern half of Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, including pretty much the entirety of Tennessee, where again we are facing the possibility of strong tornadic storms. But for our forecast here in eastern North Carolina, things thankfully looking quite a bit different. We are not looking at any sort of massive tornado threat coming up here, even though we do have a first alert weather day coming up tomorrow. The tornado risk for us is going to be significantly lower due to, again, we owe a lot to the mountains for protecting us from, again, some of those more long track possible storms and supercells. Let's talk about your forecast though. Not going to be all doom and gloom today. Let's enjoy some sunshine by being positive ourselves. 76 degrees right now along the Neuse River. East northeasterly breeze at 10 miles an hour. Dew points currently in the upper 50s. Going to continue to rise. We'll see those numbers climb ahead of tomorrow's showers, downpours, and most likely thunderstorms. Sanitary restaurant right now closing in on 80 degrees, currently 78, but it feels like 80. Easterly breeze coming in at about 11 miles an hour. Most of eastern North Carolina right now, generally between around 70 to 76 degrees. We do have a few areas still in the upper 60s. Manio, Ahoskie, Roanoke Rapids, there were 68, 69 degrees. But winds out of the northeast continue to push that cooler air down across the area. Currently looking at a breeze about 6 to 12 miles an hour. Not going to, again, be the strongest of winds, but so long as we maintain a northeasterly breeze, that's going to help keep us from getting too hot, but more importantly, keep us from getting too humid. The more humidity we gain over the next really 24 hours, the stronger the storms could potentially be tomorrow afternoon to tomorrow evening as that cold front rolls in. Right now, we're looking at storms not only through the morning hours coming up for tomorrow, but also again in the afternoon and evening. Now, the earlier those morning showers and storms roll in, the better it will be for us. Start time now looks like it's going to be between around 2 to 3 a.m., which is a little bit later than what, again, previous models have shown. Now, as we again see more rain last longer into the morning hours, that will limit the window for heat gain through the day. The less heat we gain, the more stable our environment will be, the less likely we are to see severe storms in the afternoon. So again, want to highlight, we are rooting for those storms in the morning to stick around late. Stick around late. We want them, again, hanging around as late as possible, even though, again, usually whenever we're talking about a first alert weather day, you're not rooting for storms to stay over you, but the instability in the afternoon has the potential to be far higher than the instability in the morning. So we're essentially picking the lesser of two evils in this situation. Now again, there will be some thunderstorms coming up in the afternoon. Some of those storms could get quite strong, especially if we do see a spike in humidity in the afternoon tomorrow. But we'll certainly see some sunshine through the middle of the day coming up for tomorrow. And that again could lead to those stronger storms. Here's a look at what to expect coming up later on today. Notice that strong line of thunderstorms stretching from Kentucky all the way down across, again, Mississippi, Alabama, and Tennessee. That is the area that's experiencing that higher, not only severe weather threat today, but also tornado threat today. Currently, again, looking at that area, having a tornado threat that is actually significant, being highlighted by the Storm Prediction Center for those areas across southern Kentucky into Tennessee, northern Mississippi, and northern Alabama. So this is a system, again, watch what happens as it moves over the mountains. The mountains are going to absorb a lot of that energy. And while we are going to pick up on some of it with those morning storms, it's not going to be nearly as strong or pronounced as it was on the western side of the mountains. So again, want to highlight the mountains do us a lot of favors. We got to be thankful for them. Now, as far as what we've got in the afternoon and evening, right now it's looking far more spotty and isolated. And again, the later those morning showers stick around, the weaker the afternoon and evening storms will likely be. So currently things are playing out in our favor in that regard. Let's take a look at your full 8-day forecast though. Again, tomorrow is a first alert weather day. We've got breezy conditions coming in on Thursday that will help usher in that cooler and drier air. 88 degrees on Wednesday, turns to 79 on Thursday, 74 by Friday with overnight lows in the low 50s. Springtime has not left us yet, folks. Certainly not on Friday. We will warm up as we head through the weekend, but it's going to be gradual, staying very comfortable on Saturday. A little bit more cloud cover enters the forecast on Sunday, and then Memorial Day, more so into Tuesday. We're looking at, again, another chance of some showers and storms. Right now, doesn't look severe, but we'll see how things play out once we get through Wednesday. That's all we have time for today's 11 a.m. news and weather update from the First Alert Desk. I want to thank you all so much for joining me. We'll be back with more news and weather right here on the First Alert Desk coming up at the top of the hour. Until then, I hope you all have a wonderful Tuesday.